Welcome to the TMZ podcast. I'm Branson Quirk.
I'm Charlie Neff.
How you doing, Charlie?
Good. How about you? Happy Monday.
I was going to say you dressed up very great today.
Oh, okay.
I like the leather jacket, you know?
Okay. I had an interview today, which we'll get to because we're going to be talking about it.
I love the person that you interviewed. She hasn't been in the news in a while.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. Gypsy Rose Blanchard, just to give you a sneak peek. We're also going to talk about one of the biggest stories from the weekend. Allan Richson, he got into some trouble. Well, we'll see if he gets into trouble. This video went viral of him beating on this guy in his neighborhood.
Yeah,
we're playing it now. This is wild.
My gosh.
Look at that.
I will say I love neighborhood disputes, but this, I don't know, like in front of the kids.
No other person in this office can come over here on this podcast and talk about neighbor disputes other than you.
Absolutely.
I want to hear a little bit about
I am neighbor dispute free as of right now, knock on wood.
Your neighbor was more upstairs.
Yes,
right?
the neighbor from hell.
Famous person. And then we're just going to quickly, mention the Bachelorette. Apparent winner, Doug Mason.
Yep.
Starting to make a name for himself a little bit, right?
Yeah, on social media, big social media presence.
Good for him, because honestly, if I did all that, won the show, and I got nothing, I'd be really upset.
Crazy.
So good for him. Good for him. Well, starting with our first story, Allan Richson. So you may have saw this video over the weekend. We'll play it now for you. You see Allan Richson, by the way, famous from Reacher.
Mm-hmm.
He's huge, by the way, and he's just landing punches on this guy. So there's really no context other than Allan, his two kids on motorcycles, and this neighbor taking these punches on all fours, hands and knees. They get up, he walks away, some screaming, obviously. That's interesting. There is when his motorcycle, you can tell he's trying to get away.
Out. There's
some heated moments going on here, but we finally spoke to that man.
To the alleged victim.
The alleged victim. So you're good with the terms.
Yeah, I got you. I got you,
legal,
Branson.
right?
Yeah.
The legal terms. So Ronnie Taylor is this guy's name. The neighbor seen being beaten by Allan. He's now speaking out. We had him on TMZ Live today.
And look at those bruises. Look at those marks. His head, his nose. Not gonna lie, I thought he'd look a little worse.
He's taking it well.
Taking it very well.
Taking it very
and has like this British accent, so it's like so
yeah.
He's like, I had to dispute on the street.
Yeah, someone's gonna get hot. Let's play it.
Here's what he had to say.
This incestuous revving and speeding through our neighborhood of the motorcycle. I eventually saw the guy on Saturday. I didn't know who it was. And I sort of like flippantly sort of said, guy, do you, like he was quite away. And I said, can you just slow it down, please? And then there are numerous people in my neighborhood who caught all of this on Ring doorbells of him speeding through the neighborhood. And on Sunday, when I was cleaning my bike outside my house, he rode past once, twice, and on the second time, I walked out in front of him and I said, you've got to stop. Someone's going to get hurt. And it escalated quite quickly from there. I did push him because he was coming towards me on his bike. He did it again for a second time. I pushed him a second time. And I think the second time he got off his bike and it kicked the crap out of me. I don't wish the guy any malice or ill will, but we just don't need people riding through neighborhoods like this. And I just decided, I'm going to take a stand because someone else has to.
I need to see the whole video because he's saying that the guy in the motorcycle, Allan, came towards him and then he pushed him.
Right.
I need to see that because that alone will tell me who's the aggressor here. Sounds like he's trying to cover his tracks a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely can see a world where Allan would be a menace in the neighborhood. You get a motorcycle, you're buzzing up and down the street, with no clear plan of where you're going, just buzzing around.
This
just
is Tennessee,
to be obnoxious.
By the way.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm. And you saw in the video, he's there with his children behind him. They're I think on like quads. Yeah. So they're just going back and forth. I could totally see how that would be annoying to hear, especially if, it was alleged that Allan was like going very fast all the time. That number one would be annoying to hear, but annoying as far as like, he's kind of right. Like somebody could get hurt if you're going, even 60 miles on a motorcycle, just on a neighborhood, residential street.
And with kids, because his kids are going to follow what their dad does.
Totally.
You need to keep the speed up with him. And that's a serious bike he's on. That's not a mini bike. That's a serious bike.
That's a motorcycle.
Yeah, and kids play in the street all the time.
For sure.
So I get it.
Yeah, I do see how like a neighbor would finally get fed up and like confront that person. I'm just curious, like if Allan, because here he's beating up the neighbor in front of his kids, like what does he tell the kids? Like sometimes, like is it A, like daddy shouldn't have done that, or is it B, if someone's bothering you, you got to address it yourself? Like I'm just curious what the takeaway is for the kids, because I do see a world where Allan is in the wrong. Obviously, he's beating up somebody. That's not very nice.
And he's smaller than him. He's a small guy.
I mean, the neighbor, he's kind of big too. He's a big dude as well.
Yeah, but it looks kind of sad. Like watching the video, I felt kind of bad for him.
He's like
on his
hunched
hands and
over,
knees.
getting kicked.
And if you look at the video, Allan is doing some strategic shots. He's like doing
going
these
under.
and they're hard strikes, as you can see on his forehead there. But I do find it funny that this guy who seems very timid and British.
I don't know. It's
and he's
just so
like,
proper.
Upset, and the fact that he says, "I don't wish him any malice" after you got beat by him.
Yeah.
And he didn't apparently know that Ritchson was a famous actor. He simply just told him to slow down so nobody would get hurt. He was just taking a stand. I want to hear from more of the neighbors. So maybe we'll hear more from the neighbors in this investigation. There is an investigation ongoing. No arrests have been made.
Yeah, there is. Police were called. Unclear who called police, but
how do you get
into it
to the point of punching somebody? Because even if you are pushed, you don't get a guy on all fours and start striking him in the face.
Yeah, I mean, I think this has been brewing for some time between these two, and then it finally came to a head in this video. But yeah, you would think like, hey, let's just talk this out.
Yeah.
And then maybe you can resolve it. Also, if you have a motorbike, gosh, that would be so annoying if you're like just driving it up and down your street. Like that'd be annoying to the people hearing it. Just like take your motorbike up one of those like mountainous, like, streets where there's no stoplights. Like take it away from where your home is supposed to be quiet and peaceful.
Yeah.
Be so annoying if you were living somewhere and there was consistent noise all the time. I'm a true believer that like you go to work, you're dealing with chaos, and then you should come home and your home should be serenity and a place where you can recharge. You can't recharge when you're hearing motorbikes going up and down the street.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know this.
That's the Karen in me right there.
You had a person above you that was making some noise.
Yeah, with her kids, nightmare children. It ended with like
not you striking her, right?
No, never got into it. I mean, she did bang on my door pretty hard.
Some might consider that violence.
Yeah, she was a little crazed in that moment, but she eventually moved. And even though she moved, my husband and I, we moved too because we never wanted to deal with something like that again. So, now all is well.
I will see who gets arrested here, if anybody.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want to arrest Allan Richson. I mean, his frame is huge.
Do you think they're going to have to get him a bigger cell or a bigger bed?
Definitely. I'll say too, just to finish this off. Have you heard of frame mogging?
No, what's that?
What frame mogging
is that when you like break your jaw to like have a better jaw?
No. Have you heard of right now it's a thing, looks maxing and everything.
Yeah.
So frame mogging is a portion of that. He's frame mogging this guy completely. It's where you have a bigger frame than somebody.
Oh, okay.
So you're frame
like what you do to like a bear?
Exactly.
Okay.
He's already frame mogging this guy. There's no reason to punch him because he already won.
So you think he was already like intimidating this guy just by like trying to stand tall and being bigger?
The minute he got off the bike, it was over. So there was no point in violence when you're frame mogging at 100% level.
Wow.
Yeah.
Words of wisdom from Branson.
Yeah. Gen Z, we're trying to get a Gen Z audience. They know exactly what I'm talking about. So let's move on before I can, continue on that.
Okay.
I can keep going. This is your story.
Yeah, moving on to Gypsy Rose Blanchard. Haven't heard from her in a while.
Oh. Yeah.
Obviously, she became super famous from her story. She served 8.5 years in prison for her part in her mother, Dee Dee Blanchard's murder. So she got into some hot water yesterday, got a lot of backlash from people on social media when she did this video. There's this new TikTok trend. It's called We Listen and We Don't Judge. So basically, you will say, and it's in a video, like, something terrible you've done in your past. And you're basically admitting, you're having like a confessional, but then you repeat like, we listen and we don't judge. So you're like shredding yourself or you're shedding all the like bad things you've done in your past.
Oh, okay.
So she obviously did this video, brought up her mother's death, and here's how it went.
We listen and we don't judge. I went to prison for 8.5 years because my own mom. Oh my God.
Hey, we listen and we don't judge.
Oh my gosh, what is this world?
Yes.
Oh.
So, as you can imagine, a lot of people did not find this funny. They thought maybe she was trying to make a joke out of it. A lot of people didn't like, the hand gesture, with the noise.
Oh man.
So I actually spoke to Gypsy this morning, to get her reaction or her response to the backlash. And here's a little bit of what she told me.
Like, yes, we understand that we're not perfect. We are influencers and we have gone through some difficult things, but we are focusing on positivity. That was the entire point of the video, is accountability and growth.
So your intention was to acknowledge a wrongdoing from the past.
Yes.
Now looking back, can you see why some people felt it crossed the line?
I can, especially with me particularly. I understand that my audience has always followed my journey because they like to see me grow. And so usually I think I could bank on my audience receiving things very well. But I'm not the type of person to be very in your face about my past. So this is like the first time that I tried something different and a head-on approach. And I just don't, unfortunately, it wasn't received like we wanted.
So she is apologizing.
Yeah.
Saying like, look, anybody that was offended, I'm sorry. That was not my intention. She also explained, when she did, I think the part that made it kind of icky was when she went, my mom. When she did that, I think that was the part that people really didn't like. She explained that. She said that, when they were doing this TikTok video, you can't use words like murder, killed, because they will get flagged on social media.
Mm-hmm.
So her solution to that was instead do a hand gesture so the video doesn't get flagged. So she says that's why she did a hand gesture instead. Obviously now she says, looking back, I can see why people thought I was making a joke out of it. She's like, but anyone that knows me, I've never tried to make a joke out of what happened to me. She's like, I've been very transparent and always reflecting. Even like the anniversary of like her mom's death, she always like takes a day to herself and like reflects on everything. So I can see what she's saying. And I don't think she was trying to make a joke. I do think watching it was like, oh gosh. But then hearing her explanation, I think we can forgive Gypsy Rose on that.
I mean, who are we to really judge that anyway? It's that is a very complex situation.
Totally.
Like, unbelievable. That's her thing. She did that. That's an entire different world that we don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe she was trying to use that as a way to not put it to light, but to maybe just get past it. I don't know. Yeah. She may have been testing the waters a little bit to see how far she could get with bringing it up, because that's what she's famous for.
Yeah, and imagine doing that video where you're supposed to say things that you've done wrong in the past, and then her not saying it.
Then
people would have been like, she doesn't even. Yeah, totally. So
I get it.
It's hard. Look, Gypsy Rose, before she went into prison, there was no social media. So now when she's finally gets out of prison, now she's being thrust as like an influencer. Like, whether you like her or not, Gypsy Rose Blanchard is an influencer now. So she is navigating that influencer life in the best way she can, with really not a lot of knowledge of what social media is like. Mm-hmm. So look, I think it was a mistake, and
she's learning how to, blend into society. She's only been back out of jail for how long now? A couple years now?
Yeah, a couple years.
So like, I kind of coming out of jail, you kind of go into people school a little bit.
Yeah.
Because like, she's been in jail her whole life, plus, everything else. It's like.
And she's definitely getting a crash course.
I get it. Sure. We really don't have time to move on to this last story, but real quick, the Bachelorette potential pick, Doug Mason. He's
looking hot.
What do you think of him?
I think he's hot.
You think he's really?
I think he's hot, but that video he posted, like supporting her, supporting her. I don't know. I felt like that was like really off, and I get it. Like, he, allegedly was the one that was chosen in the end, and he has some kind of bond with her that we'll probably never get to see. But I just felt during that time, it's real hard to defend somebody that is seen doing those things on camera, and just the child stuff like really bothers me.
Right. All right. Well, thank you, Charlie.
Thank
and we'll
you,
see you guys
Branson.
all back here tomorrow for afternoon.
Bye,
Thank you.
guys.